Hello and welcome to Couple of Instigators. I have all the instigators with me today. I have Jen, Margret, and Teresa.
Hey.
Hello.
Yes, the big trio. What do you call it when you throw me in? A quadro? What am I?
I don't. A foursome.
Four? Foursome. Foursome.
A square?
A square. Okay. So we have been trying to get together for like 2 weeks, and every time, I don't know, I probably bail on you guys half the time because I never know what I'm doing from day to day, but I'm just very excited that we are all in the same, not in the same room, but we are together. You're
a busy lady. You're always slinging pizzas and kissing babies and telling jokes and doing radio shows. And
yeah, well, you know, someone's got to do it. It's a rough life, but so
someone's got to get us famous.
Yeah, right. Well, producer Jen is like working diligently on our Facebook page. If anybody, I still have to do one of those little sound things, so I don't have to say it every time. But you guys, if you want to follow us, we are on Facebook, Couple of Instigators, Instagram, Couple of Instigators. We have a podcast that this first airs on 106.3 Rochester Free Radio, Sundays at 5, and then we drop to podcast on Monday. You can hear it anywhere, iTunes, Spotify, I don't know, anywhere you can get the podcast from, okay? I've done that. So,
and please download us because we want to become famous.
Yes, you know what? Here's what I say. You subscribe, you give us 5. I don't care if you don't like us, okay? Subscribe, give us 5.
We want to be like the Kardashians. We want to be famous and rich for doing not much in particular.
Right. Well, right. I mean, that basically, isn't that everybody's dream, right? Just to be like a social influencer without actually.
I feel like we're just influencing people to be snarky, though.
Well, ours is definitely, like, we are influencing people to start trouble on the internet, instigate, you know, all of that is what we try to do. But first of all, Teresa, you had you were a midwife?
I was a midwife. I feel like on my long list of resume, like accomplishments and task or whatever skills, doula is now, I think it's called a doula.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
That is now one of them.
Yes. I am watching 90 Day Fiancé still, you guys. Yes, I will be here till fall. But here's the thing. There's a spinoff. There's all these spinoffs. So on one of the spinoff shows I'm watching, one of the girls they've been following this couple for like 6 years, she just had a baby with a doula. Is that how you say it?
Mm-hmm. I think.
She had it in her house in a blow-up kiddie pool in her living room.
I've seen those videos. There used to be some other show on TLC about like people's birth stories, and I've seen that, and it's not for me. I'll just say that.
I have a friend that did it. Mm-hmm. And, like, literally, the kid will point out, he's like, this is where I was born. And they just, put all the furniture out of the way and blew up a pool in the living room, and that's where she had the baby.
My house is not clean enough for that.
No.
Actually, does anybody watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia?
I do not, but I've heard tons about it.
So, Dee and Mac are married in real life. And she had her baby at home. She went into labor at a baseball game, and they booted it home, and that's where she had the baby.
Really?
Oh.
Well, okay. So, she was like, I'm having it home. There's going to be no pain medication. I'm like, you can do that in the hospital with I don't know. Just like, I don't want to have my baby in a blow-up pool in the living room. Sorry.
The one I saw on that show, not only was it in a blow-up pool in the living room, but, like, the dad was in the water, it just, I mean...
I hope he got his vaccines.
It was just this, like...
That is pond, girl.
It was just this big soup of bodily fluids with 3 humans in it and a doula shouting on the side, and I don't know. It's not my cup of tea.
No.
That's bad. That's not good at all.
Like, so you can't, like, flush that, right? I mean,
right, like, what do you... I know.
Yeah, what do you do with this stuff?
I was like...
That's the point.
I don't know.
You can't. Let me just go, splash it out on my driveway and hose it down to the gutter. I don't think there's got to be, that's got to be illegal.
You know what? I'm just picturing the family dog, drinking this water, and it's grossing me out.
You know what, Teresa? That's probably the doula's job to clean that crap up.
Well.
All right, so let's talk about Teresa getting to be in the room, but it was in a hospital.
It was in a hospital. Wait, so my best friend went into labor 12 days early. So, none of us were prepared. So she sends this picture of her, in her hospital gown. She's like, guys, it's happening. And then I was like, oh, shit. I got to go get champagne. I'm not prepared. So I go and I'm like, Kayla, I need you. Do you have an ice chest? This is the pregnant girl or the girl in labor. I'm like, do you have an ice chest? Or we need some ice because I'm going to bring some champagne, but it's not chilled. And I didn't think about it. And she goes, well, you're not carrying around an ice chest. I carry around a pre-pregnancy bag. You're supposed to have an ice chest ready to go at any moment for the champagne. And I was like, your baby's 12 days early. No one was prepared for this. And she was like, you're right. I didn't have an ice chest either. Or I didn't have my baby bag ready either. So anyway, so I go into the hospital to just see her. I wasn't planning on being in the room. And she is having contractions and she is giving some death stares to her husband, who's also in the room, obviously. And then she ends up getting an epidural because it was just, really painful. Cindy, you've had children. That's
I
painful,
didn't have
right?
pain meds.
What?
I had my children natural, no pain meds.
Oh, wow, Cindy.
Yeah, and it wasn't really any of my doing. I am just such an amazing birthing machine that the children decided to come before they could even administer any meds.
I was going to say, it's not like you to turn down substances
right.
like that.
I was like, was this a Cindy that a more crunchy natural Cindy?
No, not at all. I just didn't realize I'm a birthing machine and I go from 0 to 10 in 20 minutes. So I went from no contractions to literally pushing out a baby in 20 minutes. It was crazy. I got to the hospital and the doctor that was there is like, I'm perfectly capable of delivering your baby because no one is going to be here to do it. Out of your doctor's office at this point.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So it was great though. I mean, I have my kids, obviously. It was boom. They came right out, but there was no time for pain meds. I'm like, what about my pain meds? They're like, they won't even kick in. You're pushing. So. But it didn't hurt that much. It didn't hurt that much, you guys, because I didn't have time to feel a lot of pain. You know what I mean? I just, went from nothing to pushing out a baby.
Wow. Well, that's good.
That was not my friend. She went in at, 10, and then she got her epidural at, 6, I guess. I don't know. She wanted to go as long as possible. That's all. Whatever she was doing. So she gets her epidural, and then because we couldn't be in the room when they administered the epidural, and then she comes out, she lets us back in the room, the nurses, and they're like, oh, so I guess it's time to practice push, which I'm not really sure what a practice push is versus a regular push, because they all looked the same.
Well, so also with the epidural, though, I believe they have to lift her legs and help her push, right?
Right. So
because you can't feel the contractions coming. At
first, we only had one nurse in there, and she was doing one leg, and then the dad was doing the other leg, and then the dad almost broke the leg because he just lifted. He just lifted it up, and she was like, "You have to bend the knee."
Oh my god!
And so the whole time he was like, I'm real concerned whenever you can feel your leg that it's just gonna be out of socket.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, she starts pushing, and then they're he's pushing the leg and then putting it back down and pushing it back up, and it's all a thing. Well, then the baby's not moving, I guess. I don't really know. There's a nurse all up in there. There's like, they're trying to feel where the head is and feeling ears and like pushing on her stomach. It's very graphic.
Yeah,
There's blood
because
everywhere.
Right. When you have the epidural, this was something obviously I learned when I was having a kid that I found like completely unbelievable. But like that sensation to push, you can't stop it. Like it's crazy. Like you automatically just like start to push. It's almost like you can't stop a sneeze, you know, that like where you can't stop it. And I was like, holy cow, like I thought I would have to like, okay, push, you know. No, I'm like, I'm pushing. Oh my God, what's happening to me? Like I didn't understand. But it's just your body's reaction to push. So when they give you the epidural, you can't feel that like reaction as well. Right. So someone has to like lift you and literally try to push the baby out. And I tell you what, that freaked me out. And that's another reason why I was like, I will not have an epidural, because I wanted to feel everything.
You're crazy.
I don't know. And then the fear of C-section just was like, I was just so scared of that.
To be honest, all of this sounds equally horrifying.
Well, the thought of them cutting open my stomach while I'm like awake freaked me out. So I'm like, if I have to have a C-section, you better knock me out. Like I will freak out.
I think the thought of pushing a 7-pound watermelon out your vagina scares me more.
It's really not that big of a deal. In fact, it almost feels like you're taking a big crap and you're just so happy to I don't know. I can't even explain it, but it's not.
You have no issues, Teresa.
First of all, we all know my bathroom problem.
You gotta lay off that Popeye.
Maybe you'll be right out.
Oh my gosh. Oh.
So
anyways,
they pushed it out, right?
So the lady's like elbow deep in her, trying to like figure out where the hands are, the head is, and make sure we're all good. Well, I guess she had to like push it down, and the baby has to get under something like a pelvic wall. I don't know. I'm
the baby's head has to be facing. I believe it has to be facing up towards like the vagina area, and then as you push, the head rotates down so that the baby can come out.
Yeah,
it's a whole doula thing.
Yeah, I mean, you could basically do it.
Well,
you can blow like smoke rings in their face to like calm them down. Anyway, so then I guess the baby wasn't moving enough, so they get this other nurse, and I'm not kidding you, she was doing WWE wrestling moves on Kayla's stomach. I was like, you're gonna be sore when you can actually have feeling. Like she was pressing so hard, her ring was like indenting in Kayla's stomach.
Oh my God!
To like try to like push it out. I guess like push it out like a pimple. I don't even know.
Like a pimple.
See, none of that happened to me.
You like sneezed and had a kid, Cindy.
Man, that kid, I'm telling you, my daughter shot out just like, and the doctor's like, good thing I played softball, I caught her. I was like, yeah, all right.
So the one was like WWE wrestling, pushing down on her stomach. And then the other one was like elbow deep. Like, I don't even know what she was doing. I was like, there was a ton of lube involved. I truly don't know. And all I kept on thinking was, if she didn't have an epidural, is this what they would be doing?
No.
Because I feel like that would be so painful.
No, I believe that the epidural does stop a lot of that, like, natural pushing sensation. So they had to, like, really, oof.
Oh, and then one of my friends is like, asking, they were like, did she poop? And I was like, there was so much blood, I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah, it's just everything.
And then I swear to you, the nurse could like, because she was all up in there, she was like feeling his hair. And I swear to y'all, I think she was like trying to pull the baby out by the hair. I was like, is she tugging on the hair?
Well,
what is going
on?
And
then they didn't have to break out those forceps. Like, that's scary enough.
No. They didn't have any accessories go in her.
Yeah.
Accessories.
Because then the baby has a cone head.
Oh, God.
I'm just picturing, like, when you see the, like, educational shows about like cows being born, and they're like the farmer's like pulling it out by the legs, and it's just like, ooh, like it's horrifying.